Carroll was rather vague and did not provide a proper business reason why an organization should engage in ethical and philanthropic activities. I agree that it's important to assist the fine and performing arts, provide assistance to private and public educational institutions, and support charitable activities within the local communities. But, as Friedman noted, executives are experts in running a company and not in selecting charitable organizations to support. By picking random ways to engage in philanthropy, organizations do not effectively use their resources. Instead, Porter and Kramer suggest that CSR needs to be part of the strategic plan and should not only be done when a company is profitable. Moreover, if done properly, a company can use CSR to create a competitive advantage, to maximize its impact and use its resources effectively. An organization should identify a particular set of societal problems that it is best equipped to resolve. That means an organization has to identify where its experience intersects with the society it operates in. Once an organization has identified how it affects society and how it is affected by society, it should select a limited number of social issues to address based on where it can use its expertise and resources effectively to make the most impact and develop targeted initiatives that generate large and distinctive benefits, and now pay attention, for the society and the company. This is where it really gets interesting. Porter and Kramer do not just say go out and do as much good as possible, but they say go out and help where it matters to you, where you have the biggest impact and where you get this competitive advantage. We'll go over each step to illustrate this process. As I said, first, the organization has to identify in what ways it affects society. This is a straightforward task as many traditional organizations have very similar business models. For example, HR recruits members for the community, provides training, pays reasonable wages, and so on. Then inbound logistics monitors transportation, storage of material, and the quality of supplies, and ensures that suppliers adhere to child labor laws and pay living wages. The operations department supervises the organization's energy usage, worker safety, handling of hazardous materials, and ecological impact. Outbound logistics is responsible for packaging and transportation of products. Marketing and sales needs to ensure that advertising is truthful and pricing practices are fair. Finally, after-sales service focuses on disposal of obsolete products and compliance with consumer privacy. Again, these are just a few basic ways an organization affects society, and most organizations will have additional points to note here. Next, an organization needs to identify how society affects its operations. This will likely include some of the following considerations. Does the environment allow fair and open competition? Is the rule of law enforced? Are intellectual property rights protected? Is corruption a concern? Organizations rely on qualified employees. Hence, they need to assess whether they have access to talented and educated workers. And in addition, that these workers have access to health care. Organizations also rely on physical infrastructure, such as roads, power, natural resources, local supplies, and of course access to capital markets. Again, this list will likely be different for each organization, but it should give you a good idea of how organizations are affected by the environment. As I said before, once an organization knows how it affects society and how it is affected by society, it should identify a few social issues where it can generate large and distinctive benefits for the society and the company. For example, when Volkswagen first announced that it would open a plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee, it realized that it needed to hire a lot of qualified employees. While Chattanooga, similar to Niagara, is a very lovely place, hiring properly trained and experienced engineers was an issue. To resolve this problem, Volkswagen worked together with the University of Tennessee. Now, the University of Tennessee offers a master's in automotive systems that was developed in cooperation with Volkswagen. Now imagine what cars they work on in this university class. Volkswagen. So this course is almost targeted towards working at the Volkswagen plants afterwards. In addition, they just recently opened Volkswagen's first innovation hub in North America at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, where research teams will support material design efforts. So by investing in the University of Tennessee, Volkswagen not only gets qualified employees, but also access to the latest research findings that can help Volkswagen to be more innovative, to get this competitive advantage. While donating money to universities is definitely part of Carol's pyramid of CSR, using donations as a way to improve the organization's competitive advantage creates a win-win situation and ensures long-term commitment. While Porter and Kramer are all about developing strategic CSR initiatives that help to create a competitive advantage, they also emphasize and advocate for the triple bottom line, a framework that requires organizations to not only evaluate financial performance, but to also look at their social and environmental performance. So let's briefly talk about the social and environmental dimensions of the triple bottom line. The social dimension, which is sometimes referred to as people, focuses on human capital that is involved in and affected by the organization's value creation process and includes employees, their families, suppliers, communities, and so on. Organizations should, for example, ensure that they pay living wages and provide safe and humane working conditions to all the employees. But in addition to that, they should also require all suppliers to do the same. The environmental dimension is also called planet and requires organizations to measure and reduce their ecological footprint. Some efforts can include investing in renewable energy, improving logistics, reducing wastewater, and so on. By focusing on the triple bottom line, on people, profit, and planet, an organization can avoid short-term behavior that is socially detrimental or environmentally wasteful and secure long-term economic performance. Again, Porter and Kramer stress the importance of creating a unique value proposition and argue that all CSR activities should contribute to an organization's competitive advantage. The most strategic CSR occurs when a company adds a social dimension to its value proposition, making social impact integral to the overall corporate strategy. Only then can it be truly helpful to society and to the organization.